Hi Pisces, welcome to your January 2019 Tarot and Astrology reading. Happy New Year. I hope you're very excited about 2019. This is a very interesting month because right off the bat we have both a partial solar eclipse in Capricorn and we also have a lunar eclipse in Leo. Now we'll start with the Capricorn energy. So on the 5th of January, we have this partial solar eclipse in Capricorn, and we also have Mercury entering the sign of Capricorn. Now what this does is this puts extra emphasis for you on networking. And networking can involve many things. It can involve friendships in a social setting, socializing, interacting with new people, meeting different types of people, but it can also, as we had that amazing Sagittarian energy in December, continue on from the luck that you will have networking in your career. It is still very much your time to be out and about, Pisces, and meeting people, talking to people, and being seen. If you feel you want to be in hermit mode, it would be wiser to reject that feeling and at least make sure on some level that you are out interacting, because this is very, very important times for you to do this. Now, we also have Venus in Sagittarius. Now, since it has left Scorpio, it is carrying the flame into your career again. So as it's joining Jupiter, you could find, particularly as Venus is all about love, you could find love in the workplace, a new work connection which may join your workforce in January, may be interesting or intriguing to you in a romantic sense. Ooh, that was a slip of the tongue. Or it may be that you are introduced to someone through a work colleague. There's a lot of opportunities this month provided that you put yourself out there. And for some of you, yes, the star, hope, faith, embracing yourself, your vulnerability. As we know with the star, she is nude because she is authentically herself. And that brings me to the sun moving into Aquarius on the 21st of January, which leads us into deeper waters, Pisces, for you. A time when you really can look inward. 12th house energy in its essence is your energy. So as the sign of 12th house itself, you're very much in tune with your feelings, and you can get very lost in your feelings at times. Sometimes you can drown in those murky waters if things aren't that clear. And with Neptune, your ruler, having been in your sign for so very long, and having been retrograding and direct, it is the time when you can maybe feel a little bit out of sync emotionally and need more time to look inward, especially if you have had to network and give a lot of your energy to other people. Typically Piscean people, I went to say Pisces and I went to say Piscean. Typically Piscean people cannot be around others 24/7. You need to recharge. You need some time by yourself. You need to look inward and be by yourself a lot of the time, which can be hard for others to understand if you're quite outgoing and sociable regularly. Every so often you will dip just to get your energy back up, as you're a bit of a psychic sponge, Pisces. Death card. Transformation. We like the death card in tarot. Well, I do. I know a lot of people have a lot of mixed emotions towards death, but right off the bat, this is a very strong energy to begin a reading with. Because the death card can also signify endings. But at its most fundamental core, it represents change. This can be very transformative change, where you close one door and another opens. It's very appropriate for a new year, I must say. You've closed the door in 2018 and you're entering into 2019 with a very different sense of self. This indicates to me that January is going to be a very transformative month for you. And you're really going to feel very different coming out of January as you were beginning. It's a good time to let go of unhealthy attachments. Death can be figuring out what is metaphorically killing you, what is sapping your energy, what is not working, What do you keep devoting your attention to but has already died? You know, it's like having a dead plant in the house and refusing to throw it out and continuing to water it. There may be something that needs to be removed, and more often than not, in most cases, this represents an idea that you have about yourself or about relationships or about career. It is a limiting belief. As I say, it's time to close one door. Now, what is crossing you is the Ace of Pentacles, which is the beginning. It's the offer, okay? So I'm sensing you've possibly been waiting for a change, but you've not made any action. You've been waiting for somebody else to offer you an action, a conversation, a gift, a word. The Ace is an offer. And that has been the reason you've resisted change, because you were expecting it to come from somebody else, which was a losing battle. There may have been somebody in your past, Pisces, where confrontation was particularly, there was no real resolution a lot of the time. It's almost, when the Five of Swords can represent arguing for the sake of arguing, going in a roundabout, not really being able to understand the other person. And although one has all the swords and the others are walking away, he's alone. So maybe somebody left you because they were proud. Maybe you left somebody else because you were proud. In the recent past, we have the Two of Cups. So there seems to be some sort of significant love connection here, Pisces, which is rather intriguing. It's almost like being between an old relationship and a new one. It's almost as if there was the relationship where you felt you couldn't win. Sometimes the Five of Swords can represent competition. It can represent someone wanting to have your heart and others without losing their own. And then the Two of Cups can signify a mutual relationship where there's an understanding. I'm thinking for a lot of you, it's either a Scorpio or another earth sign. I say another earth sign, I mean any of the earth signs, a Taurus, Capricorn, or a Virgo, but we're not sure yet. It can mean any. And there's your card, Pisces, the Moon. Interesting indeed. You can't quite see where this year is going just yet. You feel very aware of being in the dark. The thing about the Moon, though, is that it can represent illusion. And it also represents intuition, but the two are very, very, very different. We see with the two pillars, very different aspects between illusion and intuition. You can feel like something is wrong, yet it can appear fine. Or you can feel like something is fine even though it appears wrong. It is the feeling that seems to matter. Particularly as you are going through some sort of catharsis of self, where you really start to consider who you are and what it is that you want out of this year, and it may be very, very different. I'm sensing off the bat that death means this year, Pisces, is going to be incredibly, incredibly transformative for you. Now, we have the Six of Pentacles as well, so you very well may be giving an offer. But one of the key things you're finding, Pisces, in this energy is that the more that you give, the more that you're getting back. We have the Page of Wands. Move this, which can represent a fire sign. There's the Hermit. I did talk about the Hermit. Move this. We have the Ace of Cups and the Ten of Cups. Now that is gorgeous. Okay. And the Seven of Wands. Ooh, okay. Okay, so we have had we've had the Hermit card. So I want to talk about him because I like to go into the major arcana first because they sort of set the framework for the reading, the underlying themes, etc. The Hermit is all about soul searching and introspection. So you may have felt like you have been soul searching for quite a while. You may have felt like you are figuring out layers of yourself that you didn't realize were there until you were faced with a very strong change, a very strong transition that you maybe weren't expecting. The Death card can come in quite shockingly. He can ride in on his horse and just take what he wants, and then he's gone before you know it. And you may have been going through changes with this, particularly in relationships. Because Pisces, there is this degree of flogging a dead horse in your past. I sometimes think death represents that, because he can't be the only one that's dead. The horse has to be dead too. You don't flog a dead horse. With the Five of Swords here, you may have been dealing with people who were very ego-driven, who saw love as a battle. And Piscean souls are very soft and very natural. They're very poetic in their approach to love in some cases. And to have people that come in very sharp can be very damaging on your soul, because I say the Pisces soul is very like a sponge. You will absorb other people's thoughts and feelings. And the problem with being a Pisces at times, or if your moon is in Pisces or you're rising, you can soak in other people's pain. You can soak in other people's wounds. And sometimes, as I say, hurt people, you can have those wounds cut into you quite deeply. Because a sponge is one of those things that when you rip, it is quite hard to put it back together. And it can also be very absorbent, and sometimes you can feel rinsed out, and sometimes you can feel heavy, much like the ebb and flow of the tide from the moon. So what I'm seeing here, Pisces, is that you have to make some sort of new rules without the risk of sounding like Dua Lipa. You have to make some new rules, okay? You have to figure out on the giving scale what you're getting back from your relationships and what you're putting into them. Because the little set of scales that he has here, that he's holding up, mean that there is a balance. Even though he's rich and they're poor, even though he's feeding them, he is getting something back from this. Otherwise, the scale would not be balanced. He's received a lot of abundance in his life, so he's willing to give. He's able to give. You are a very warm and emotional person with a lot of feelings. And you have possibly until this point attracted people who are happy to take from that because they are lacking in feeling. Do you understand? So because you've been able to give those feelings, they've been happy to take. But you weren't getting any satisfaction out of that. That's the difference between your situation and this card. He's giving because he can, and he's giving because he knows he's been blessed and it's right. But there's nothing to say these people wouldn't give back to him if they could. That's the difference. Who has been taking and who has been along for the ride and has not given back? Because somebody may very well at some point in the last year, in 2018, have been hiding things from you. The moon can represent our intuition telling us that someone has not been as they appear. The illusion, okay? So the reason the Death card has come in is because you've rid yourself of those people, or because you are currently ridding yourself of those people. Either or, you'll know which point of the journey you're on. Now, the amazing thing about this is that when you figure out this giving thing, when you figure out how much you can give and you figure out your levels of it, particularly Pisces with friendships, okay? And I know that this is romantic, it's also career. These messages are applying to quite a lot of areas, but just drawing in the Capricorn influence here in terms of friendship, there have been people willing to take, or people who have almost been a vacuum for you, where you've given them all this support and all this attention and all this positive affirmation to tell them that they're wonderful, that they're beautiful, every time they break up with the same person, for example, and they're never there when you need them. There's people here like that, is kind of what I'm seeing. And you've maybe taken some time out by yourself. As I say, you need to be networking, you need to be meeting people, but you may have taken some time out and realized that possibly a Virgo or possibly a fire sign has been a little bit of an energy vampire on you, okay? What's beautiful for you is that once you figure that out, your cup floweth over with emotional contentment. And the reason that I say you need to get out there, Pisces, is because your odds of finding people who fulfill it for you and who meet you in the emotional depths of which you come from are going to be more easy to find in January, okay? So that's not to say that you should cut out all of your friends, for example, because I know some people can lean towards extremes. With readings, you can start to look at people and think, oh, maybe it's them, or maybe it's them. It might not be any of them. This might be past energy coming through. And it's letting you know that because you've done this and because you've figured out who are your people, you're coming towards greater things. It's just that it's taken time to get there. Do you know what I mean? So don't start looking at people suspiciously and thinking it could be you. It doesn't necessarily have to be, Pisces. There's actually something really wonderful happening for you in January with this 10 of Cups. Something that makes your heart feel really full. Something that makes your heart feel really, really, really content. Ooh, I know what that was that flipped. It didn't flip, it popped, but I saw what it was. I'm going to draw again, and I'm going to see if he comes out. Because he popped up whenever I said about your heart being content, and I'm wondering, will he come up again? Because he represents a couple of things. So we'll see. Strength, crossed by the 9 of Cups. I'll put these out first. Knight of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, Page of Swords, 6 of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, Emperor. Yes, making your own rules. He did. He came up right at the end. I knew he would. He was the one that hopped. The Knight of Wands. As I say, he can mean many things. My goodness. Pisces. I love when he does that. I feel like if any card's going to be the one that does it, it's him. That's fantastic. Okay. Wow. Oh, okay. So if some of you were hoping, now this has followed you around actually, the Knight of Wands, I think he's followed you guys around for a bit of time. If you're hoping for a happy ever after, Pisces, you may very well find it with a fire sign. Could be an Aries, could be a Leo, could be a Sagittarius. I'm very, very drawn to Leo because of the Strength card coming up off the bat, okay? So it could be the other fire signs, or it could be someone with a moon or rising, or even possibly a Venus in a fire sign, okay? So this is somebody that I feel is coming inward. The Knight of Wands is sort of coming into me from the future. So someone that you've maybe not dated, or somebody that you've maybe not even met yet, that you meet in January. In fact, I sort of think this could be someone coming in around the 10th for some of you. This is a general, so it's not necessarily indicative of that. It's just I feel like there's a fire sign coming in for you, okay? For a lot of you anyway. Now this could be somebody who is from a different country instead, somebody who's from a very different land. Someone with a very different accent is one way that I'm sort of leaning towards this. For some reason, it's just what I look at him, I think, I bet he has a very different accent than yours. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's one of the things that appeals to you, because I also see the moon here with the Page of Swords. This combination came up for Scorpio, and it can be someone spying on you, so someone watching you from afar, somebody checking out your social media. So this could be somebody you actually meet online, or someone that sees your social media and thinks, I'd like some of that, so they slide into your DMs. That type of thing. I actually think this is somebody, I think for a lot of you it's somebody new. It doesn't have to be somebody brand new. It can be someone you're already dating or whatever. Now, the problem may be in some cases, and I don't know how to describe this per se as a problem, but they may have a project or a passion which they devote a lot of time to. Okay, so something possibly charitable, or building a business, building an empire. There's something about them that has their fingers in a lot of gloves, pies, whatever. The thing about this person is that they are coming in to offer you something with potential. Okay, because I also see the Queen of Pentacles down here with the Page of Wands, and I sort of get this overall feeling of an offer, an offer, an offer, an offer. And it's very different. The Knight of Wands is very different to the Knight of Cups, for example. The Knight of Cups is, he's offering you something romantic. He almost sort of treads in slowly. And I think for a lot of you Pisces, you've been dealing with people who have been very wary of throwing themselves into things emotionally full throttle. Okay, the Knight of Wands can be a bit different. He can be very direct. He can be very brave. He can be very courageous. He can also, when things get serious and when things get tough, hide. That's not to say he's gone forever, but he can also be that way. So be mindful that if you're in the early stages of this and things start to get serious, he might be the person that backs off a bit. Okay, and the more intense you're going to be about it, he may back off even more. Just be mindful. He may also be the type of person who's watched you for a while. There may actually be, I just think there could be, if you've dated another Pisces, for example, there could be one watching you from the past, but I also think you may be watching other people from the past. Because I do think there are some sort of self-imposed restrictions that are stopping you from moving fully on at the moment as we go into January. I don't think that's how you end it. That's why I think we're in the death mode. Like the death card is what's come up. But there's definitely a feeling of the more you give, the more you get back, which is really, really, really nice. Temperance, it could be a Sagittarius. So Temperance is all about taking the middle ground and being easygoing. Now, what I was saying was about how when you are dealing with this Knight of Wands person in particular, because they don't have to be a fire sign, so if you've not met anybody yet and you think somebody new could come in, do listen to this. It feels like it's an energy whereby if you push too much, they back off. Do you know what I mean? Temperance always asks you to take a more moderate route. Be more easygoing and trusting about the process rather than freaking out that they're going to ghost you. Okay? Because I sort of feel like you might have been ghosted, Pisces. Is that fair? By somebody relatively recently, maybe for some of you. Possibly. Yeah, there's certain similarities here, and I think because the death card came up, you may want to watch Scorpio's reading, because there's definitely similarities. The Ace of Wands, we have the spark. Okay. Hierophant. Interesting. Page of Cups and the Page of Swords. Yes, there could be a water sign from the past keeping tabs on you, actually, or a water sign. Well, there's definitely a love interest that's watching you. Let's put it that way. Someone's already spotted you, or someone spots you in January. The Sun. Oh. Ooh, it's definitely for a lot of you. It's a fire sign. Oh my goodness, it might be an earth sign. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Well, fine, Pisces. You hog all the love interests to yourself there. Just you do that. And the Ten of Swords. So you're gonna think I'm really creepy for saying this, but I like seeing the Ten of Swords in people's readings because, and bear with me, I know you're thinking, ooh, you psycho. But it's actually because tens represent the end of a cycle, right? They also represent the beginning of a new cycle. And the Ten of Swords was once described somewhere on the internet as being overkill, being overdramatic, being so many swords that it's funny. It only took one, and he's got 10. Right? It's a waste of the swords, at worst. It symbolizes to me you've done this hamster on a wheel dance thing with negative thinking before. So you've ran yourself ragged to the point we have the Death card. Death card and the Ten of Swords, something has ended, and it's ended fully, okay? In fact, it's ended overkill. So you may have been dealing with people or a string of really bad toxic relationships or failed relationships or something, and you've just had a switch go off in your head, and there you are at the Strength card and the Ace of Wands. So you're embracing your inner strength, your animal instinct. You know that you're a survivor. You know that you are capable, okay? This actually reminds me of, you know that Destiny's Child song, Survivor, now that I just said it? The line that said, you know, I'm not going to diss you on the internet. Because I look at the Page of Swords and the Moon and I think, if somebody says something online that really irks you, don't react. If it's a love interest or somebody puts up a photo that you know that they know is going to annoy you or whatever, don't react. Okay? Someone may be trying to annoy you online. Don't react. Okay? Strength card and the Ace of Wands is all about being a survivor, but it's also about channeling your inner strength and being subtle, using your infinite wisdom. It's not plowing straight onto somebody and saying, you a-hole or whatever. Even if somebody, for example, 10 of Swords student really overdid it. The 10 means you can't give them any more of your attention. You've began again at an ace. Okay, and the Ace of Swords is very powerful, it's very triumphant, it's very witty, it's very well versed in communicating the truth, it's cutting through the truth. And both the Six of Wands and the Ace of Swords as keywords represent victory. We can see the crown here, and we can see the garland. It is success, it is being at the peak of your game. You're here. Don't go down a level for whoever that was. Okay, I think for some of you it was possibly a water sign, but it could have been a Taurus as well. I don't know. It's different for different people. I think for some of you, you may have had somebody who promised you significant commitment and then was never around, or somebody who was the person that you sort of thought you might marry for some reason. You know, you just thought that. I'm gonna tell you, Pisces, I feel very strongly that you are going to be finding real, authentic happiness this month in the bleakness of January. The Knight of Wands, though, also reminds me of the Southern Hemisphere at this time of year, so I think some of you may be enjoying the summer down there. We have the Sun as well, and the Queen of Pentacles, so I'm sort of drawn to Queensland. Is it Queensland? It's called in Australia? I don't know, I'm very, very linking to Australia for this. So some of you may be in Australia. If you are, I think you're going to be finding significant happiness. You may actually meet somebody at a horse show or a fair or a carnival. Anyway, for Pisces in general, some of you guys are going to meet, well, I think a lot of you that are single are going to meet somebody. I'm drawn to the earth and fire signs as being significant. Now, as I always say in the readings, I don't generally leave it on a court card, so I'm going to clarify the three positioned here. I'm not going to clarify them separately because I feel like it actually for some of you could be the same person. It could be an earth sign from a different country. Again, I'm just feeling like it's almost, you know, they have a different accent to yours is what the Knight of Wands tells me. But I do feel like it's a love interest. Oh, no, I won't accept that. Didn't pop out. No, I'm not going to take that either. Do you know, Three of Wands. This is similar. I did see the Hangman pop and go back in. So I was going to say, and this is a very similar message, so the outcome is the same. It could actually be somebody that, although they come in all guns blazing at the start, Pisces, I think you have to be quite patient with this person. Okay? Especially if you're dealing with an earth sign, you're going to have to be patient. And I know that that's probably kind of annoying because I think some of you may possibly be dating this person. and you're like, I don't want to wait any longer. But the Three of Wands is all about figuring something out. You know, taking time to figure out if you want to be together or not. I think you probably will be. The Ten of Cups to me suggests a very strong possibility of a happily ever after type person, or at least a relationship that has very, very, very happy times. So if you are dealing with someone, and this may also be, there may be issues with traveling. So they could be, you could meet them and they could be traveling somewhere. I don't feel like that stops the conversation. I don't think it stops the communication. I think even if it does, they're still spying on you. But I do say be patient. And this is actually one of the things I was thinking about for you guys, is the patience aspect. You know, Temperance is very patient, and it did pop out earlier. So, ooh, Anya, leap of faith. Take a risk and put your heart's true desire into action. And Sarasvati, the arts. Express yourself through creative activities. We obviously had that full moon in Cancer at the end of December in your creative sector, Pisces. If you are watching this in December, hi from the future. Boundaries. Love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. Okay, so there is some sort of... Yeah, you maybe are feeling a bit overkill. So I'm going to take back that, you know, make sure you do have some time for yourself. I do encourage you to get out and network, because you might meet this person. But all the same, if you have to say no sometimes, I actually think that applies very much to the friendships I was talking about who's taking from you all the time. Okay. When I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. Okay, so have faith. Energy flows where my intention goes. And I am the dreamer of my dream. I love that for you guys, Pisces, because you're so ethereal. Take a leap of faith. Have faith in this person. And as I say, if they back off ever so slightly, it's okay to give them space and not worry about it. I think you're being promised something really kind of lovely, Pisces, is my honest opinion. Ten of Cups, you can't really argue with that. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And I think you're finding something really... I think you're finding a new emotional chapter of your life with a person. Or at least you begin the cycle of dating better options. Okay? I hope you enjoyed that reading, Pisces. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next readings. Bye.